Welcome back, everybody. This is Where's York for York Talk. And we just had a bit of an internet connection error, so we started again. And we are doing everything York Talk, sales and business today. And as you can see, we're in a business today. And that's one of the beauties of York Talk is we can go anywhere in the world, whether we come to Toowoomba, where we are right now, or we can be in New York, which we're going to be in a few weeks' time. But with York Talk, everything sales and business, we want to really reach out there to different businesses. We want to reach out there to salespeople and want to really engage them and give them some great knowledge, some expertise on how to grow their sales, grow their business, grow their wealth. And you know what, just here to make things a bit better. So today we're in one of my businesses, which is up in Toowoomba in Australia. And it kicked into winter only a few days ago. And the weather's turned it on, hence why we've got the big jacket. But this here is a self-storage facility. We've got 520 storage sheds. You might hear a bit of noise in the background. I've got a few guys moving in just down the other corridor. But, you know, I've got quite a difference compared to Sales Coaching International, which is why we do York Talk. And then we've also got, say, Easy Access Storage, which is a self-storage business. But we're going to come through about sort of why we do what we do at Sales Coaching and why I decided to purchase, 4 years ago into, say, like this self-storage business, which is very different to, the sales coaching industry. But it all comes around, it comes around people. In today's segment, I want to really highlight how important people are in your organization, how important people are for your growth of yourself, from your own education, but from your own expansions, and there's been so much hype with IT, with advancements of technology. You got a lot of the AI coming in. And you know what? I think you look at a lot of small business owners and a lot of salespeople, and they sort of look at the technology advancements and they kind of fear it. But at the end of the day, we do need to keep up with technology. But one thing we can't do is really underestimate how important people are in our organizations and within our own growth. If I go back to when, for example, I was 25 years old, I just want to say thanks to Ruth and Vez for jumping on. When I was back at 25, if I didn't have people that believed in me and believed in what I could do, I wouldn't have been able to set the goals. And 10 years later, we bought this self-storage facility. So to give you an idea of why myself and my wife decided to buy a self-storage facility compared to, a different organisation, even though we're the CEO of Sales Coaching International, this here gives me 520 multiple streams of income on a monthly basis. So you look at a lot of the richest people in the world, they always say diversify your money and make sure you've got different incomes coming in. And, you've got to have those multiple streams of income to become really, really wealthy. So we looked at a business like this, which gives us 520 different streams on a monthly basis coming in. And that kind of put us in the light. So we looked at that when we were 25, but it took us 10 years to reach that goal. It took us 10 years, every single 6 months, reevaluating our goals to make sure we get, we'd save the money up and would invest that money before we can come and buy, a business such as this. So, but it all comes back to the people when I was, 23, 24, 25 years old that really believed in me and showed me the way and mentored me. And, I think you look at, small businesses and salespeople now, look at the technology era coming in. And some people are getting a bit disheartened in the fact that they need to really keep up with this. But I want to cover a few points here today of why people are really critical. And I don't think people are ever going to go away because it's such, people want to deal with people. So the first thing is if you're in business or you're in sales, you need to make sure that you build really strong relationships. You need to build strong relationships with your suppliers. You need to build strong relationships with the external clients and also your internal clients. If you've got staff, you need to make sure you treat your staff absolutely fantastic. You need to get on a great relationship basis with them. But, if you're a sole operator or, you're a sales agent, you work for someone, you need to make sure you build those relationships with your mentors. You need to build your relationships with your clients. You need to build relationships with every single person because you never know when that opportunity is going to open its door. Because if you treat every single person, you have great relationships with every single one person that you touch, whether like you're saying your clients, your suppliers, your staff, you never know when that door is going to open up, and technology can't take that away. If you're a sole operator and you've got a great relationship with a supplier and you've had a client who asks for a big order, for example, you can ring that supplier up, and if you've got a great relationship, you're going to be able to fulfill that order and be able to give that client some great customer service. So you never know when that door is needed to be opened. You can knock on that door and say, guess what? I'm here, I need some help, or I need this, or you need whatever. But you can't do that if you haven't built relationships. But the challenge is when you're building these businesses up and you're building your sales up, sometimes you can forget to build those relationships. What I'm saying here is nothing that anyone doesn't know. I'm not giving information here which is, so different to what everyone else has said. But the thing is, a lot of people find it hard to find the time to build these relationships because they're working so hard in their business, or they're working so hard to build their sales pipeline up. The thing is, when you put a little bit of time aside to build those relationships up, it's actually funny how much time you actually end up on the other side as time goes on, because those relationships have actually allowed you to free some time up. So to give you an idea, up here in Toowoomba, we've got one of the best managers you could ever ask for in Ruth, and the assistant in Ash, and they're absolutely fantastic. And, they run the business like it's their own business, but we've built that relationship up over time. So, you need to make sure you build those relationships, spend the time and really nurture those relationships you go through. And you're going to watch as time goes on the amount of time that frees up for yourself, and you can actually empower them really well. So make sure we build those relationships up. The second thing is, if you have the chance and you have staff within, you've got to build from within. I see so many organisations who are always trying to hire from outside, their organisation, and they're putting people into many positions, and they're trying to find someone from external. You need to, as often as possible, build from within. If you want to grow your organisation and you want to scale and you want to be able to have a great culture and great values and a great mission, etc., you need to make sure you build from within. You may have someone who's not quite ready, but they've got your culture. They understand how you work. They understand, your needs and your wants. They understand, how you tick as a CEO. You've got to give those people the opportunity before you bring someone externally in. And I see so often that organisations will try and find someone outside before they look inside. So a key thing for me is if you want to build a great organisation and you want to build and have a great culture, you need to build, and you got to train, and you got to mentor, and you got to promote from within. That's one of the most critical aspects. So make sure you look at every single person inside your organisation before you hire externally, because you know what? It's like, like the footy team, for example, you never know when the next leader or captain's going to be, and you don't know who it's going to be until you give them that opportunity. So give them that opportunity, and watch them flourish, watch them when you empower them, watch where they go. The third thing, is if you can't grow from within. So you may only have a small amount of staff and you're hiring for something which is a bit more of an expertise role, for example. I had a great advice from one of my accountants a couple of years ago, and it's about pay for the best. You look at some organisations, they try and bring in a manager or a CFO or whatever, and they want to try and pay them as little as possible because maybe cash flow is tight or whatever. Here's a great tip here, and this is what I've learned, and it is such great advice that we got. His name was Jason Cunningham, still our accountant, absolutely the practice down in Melbourne. If you need a new accountant, make sure you go and see these guys. They're absolutely phenomenal. But you've got to pay the best. You've got to pay the most to get the best. You know what? Don't ever scrimp on the pay, because guess what? It's going to come back and pay you dividends in a lot faster rate. So we do this every single time we're looking for some of our key positions and we don't have them internally. Maybe it's an expertise. We will go and headhunt and we will get the best and we will pay the best, because it's quite funny. Even if cash flow is tight on a particular month, the turnaround time on that is absolutely phenomenal. It's so much faster than if we're trying to train someone up in that expertise role. You can hear the truck in the background. They're just leaving, so they've just moved in, which is great news. The fourth thing is, you know what? You got to think about, you look at the Richard Branson quotes and comments, and, he's absolutely phenomenal in what he's built around the world. And he's a big believer is, customers don't come first, your staff come first. And it's so true. If you treat your staff well, your clients are always looked after great. So you see so many organisations, and we see it with sales coaching. We go into heaps of different businesses, and some businesses have an absolute fantastic culture. And then other businesses, the culture's not quite there. There's a bit of backstabbing going on, and, someone's not happy about, the quality of leads or whatever it is, And you see then their clients, their customer complaints are up. The satisfaction level from their customers, is down. So it's a true reflection of the way that the staff are feeling at the time is a true representation of the way the clients are dealt with at the time. So I love that Richard Branson model in the sense where, make sure you look after your staff. If you look after your staff, the rest is going to take care of itself. Your client's going to be treated great. You're going to get great referrals. You're going to get great reviews. You're going to get great testimonials because it all starts from internal. When you have that great culture, the vision, the missions, your staff, are excited to come to work and they want to come to work every single day and they want to do the best that they can, then your client's going to be repaid because of that there. So that, to me, one of the biggest things from a CEO is really work heavily on your internal staff. Really work hard to get that culture and get the right team. And, in many cases, sometimes you've got to fire some people pretty quick. And I'm under no disillusion when we hire people that if they're not the right fit, then we're going to get rid of them really fast. And we do that in our organisation because, as the old saying, one bad apple can affect the entire bunch. It's so true. So I feel in a lot of cases when you're trying to get that right team and that right culture, some CEOs or some sales directors, etc., they hold on to staff too long and it can really have an adverse effect on your entire team and your culture. So make sure you really protect your team. Make sure you really analyze the team and make sure they all have the same vision and they have the same goals and they have the same direction. So therefore that team is going to become a winning team and your clients are going to be repaid thereafter. And then the last thing is I want to talk here is, and this is for small business, for salespeople, at the end of the day, there's a massive focus on technology. But we need to make sure that we focus, how is technology going to help personnel? We don't want to have it the other way around, and a lot of organisations have it the other way, is how's personnel going to help technology? But at the end of the day, you look at, a lot of the large telecommunication organisations, they went offshore with a lot of their call centres, and now they're coming back because of the fact that the technology, their customer satisfaction declined, for example. So we need to make sure we focus on how can technology support your personnel? How can technology help the people out there selling your products and services, not the other way around? Because at the end of the day, people want to deal with people, and it's always going to be that way. It's been that way for 1,000 centuries. It's going to be that way for another 1,000 centuries. We just need to make sure that we keep up with technology to help the cause, but it's not going to get in the way of that personnel. And you see a lot of organisations have done the 180 split and they're coming back and they're hiring more people from, maybe a couple of years ago when they actually let people off because of technology, and it's coming back around. So make sure we understand, technology doesn't drive success. People drive success. People drive momentum and behaviour. Technology doesn't do that. So therefore, technology is only a supporting asset to personnel. And so to me, if you want to expand your business and you want to expand your sales, we've got to look around the personnel. We've got to look at the people that we hire. We look at the people that we mentor. We look at the people that we educate, because at the end of the day, someone mentored you and someone believed in you at some stage to get where you are. So now it's time to repay that. But if we want to have a great organisation, then we need to make sure we put a concerted effort for this to happen. So if we go back, we need to make sure we build those relationships. And we can't say we didn't have the time. We've got to make the time, because when we build those relationships, as time goes on, you'll actually free up your time, because of the fact that you'll get things done a lot faster. We need to make sure that if you have the opportunity, you build from within. That's going to design a fantastic culture, some great core values and some missions. It's going to put everyone in the same light. And what it's going to do is also going to empower your team, because they can see opportunities within the future. So build, if you have the chance, make sure you build from within. The third thing is, if you can't build from within, if you can't grow from within, pay the best. Don't sit there and go, oh, look, this person here, I can pay them a little bit less, and it's going to take a bit longer to build them up to where we need to be. Pay the best and get the best, and you're going to pay dividends far quicker. You're going to see that turnaround time much quicker when you do that. The fourth thing we looked about was, the Richard Branson model. When you build a great team and you focus on your staff, your clients are going to get the dividend, the repayment, the payment thereafter, because the fact that your staff are wanting to come to work, your staff are excited, and that's just going to rub off onto your clients. And then the last thing was, we talked about, focus on technology, but focus on how technology can support your personnel. We need to make sure we keep up the times with technology, but we can't let it overtake personnel, because we still want to have human action. You look at, say, Facebook Live here. We're speaking to person on person. It's got technology, but how's that supporting the personnel? You look at Instagram, people still want to see photos and images, but again, it's all about how can that help with the personnel. So to me, this is really critical. And the last case in point is, if you want to win, get around the right people. So today we've spoken about how you build the team, but if you want to win, you need to make sure you look up who's mentoring you, what's your circle of influence like, because if you don't have a great circle of influence, what are you going to be bleeding downhill? You're going to be saying the right things, you're going to be saying the wrong things. Are you building a positive, dynamic team, or are you building a negative team? So you need to look at above you and see who is mentoring you, who's your circle of influence, and is mentoring, receiving, and how is it helping your cause. So it's York. This is York Talk, coming to you live from Easy Access Storage in Toowoomba. You know what? If you want any questions or you need some advice, make sure you look us up on where'syorksales.com, or you can email us, or you can direct message us here on Facebook. If you want a session on how to overcome objections, how to close sales, or if you want, how to grow your business, how to do marketing, make sure you give us a direct message and we can do a York Talk segment on that for you. Every single week we get plenty of emails and messages, so make sure you do that. We go through everyone. We get back to every single client or person who has given us a message, so we're here for every single person. So my name is Where's York. Thanks for listening. Make sure you share it. Make sure you like it. This is York Talk. Everything sales and business. We've got the noise happening in the background, but guess what? That's what business is all about. So stay tuned. We'll see you all next Tuesday at 1 o'clock Australian Eastern Standard Time. Once again, York Talk, everything sales and business. Have an absolute cracking week.